name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into TechPath. I want to thank our sponsor today. That is Margex. If you're looking for a non-KYC entry point and getting into some trading, you can actually go into Margex website and join. It's very easy to get set up. We've got a lot of bonuses available with our code. So the way it works is use the code down below. Once you're logged in, then you can use that code. You'll be able to get some additional bonuses and benefits for that. And the cool thing about Margex that I like is some of their copy trading features. If you know what copy trading is, if you're brand new to trading, you don't know how to short, you don't know how to long, you just want to look at how some traders are doing it, copy trading is the way to go. You can go in and click that leaderboard. You'll get a chance to see all the top traders on Margex and then pick the one you think maybe fits with your investing style. Go in and do that, and very easy to get started. Once you kind of understand that, then you can graduate over to actual trading. And you can do this with copy trading as well. Very easy to get in on this platform and a lot of assets available. So just check it out. You guys can pretty much get anything you're looking for, and very easy to set up because it's no KYC, and you get some bonuses for us when you use our link. So just click that down below. You guys can get started over on Margex. I want to bring in Mr. Evan Aldo, and we'll break down some coins today. How are you, man?
Doing fantastic. You know it's a good day when you got the whale in the back right there. So
I see that you have
we're
one.
about to hit 100K.
I like
we
it.
may hit that 100K on the live on this recording. So it is surreal. It's really surreal. You know, we've only been waiting for this day. For some people have been waiting for this for many years now. So it's
4 years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Can't get much better.
Since 2021, about this time too in 2021. Yep. So let's go over and take a look at XRP. XRP absolutely flying up the charts right now, 30% in the last 24 hours at this time. Right now setting at $1.46. Many people are looking at this possibly even a $2 XRP. I mean, that's crazy to say, but we could see a $2 XRP. Evan, what is your opinion right now on XRP and where this might be going?
Let's take a look. So XRP has, come out of the depths of, I don't want to say it, but this thing has, just finally broken upward. And I mean, just some basic TA out of this, basic triangle pattern that we've been in for a long, long time, many years now. You got to target all the way up at $6. Now that could be a good goal for the next, you could maybe get that from $1.45 right here. What is that? That's about 300%. So nothing too crazy. I think that's a realistic goal for the end of 2025. Now, to answer your question, $2 by the end of the day, I think that's a little bit too optimistic. $1.68, not too, more realistic. So yeah, I think potentially jumping up a little bit higher. We're $1.50, a little bit of commotion here, a little bit of consolidation, but I think you're generally kind of home free for a lot of these, looking like some good continuation on the 16-hour. If you could break through that $1.66, then I mean, my next fib level, if you could, all-time high is around $2. That'll probably give you some trouble. But I mean, I think you're probably at least going to get up to $290 this fib level by sometime next year. I mean, I'm pretty bullish on XRP. Do I think XRP is going to be the best coin to buy right now compared to a lot of other things? No, I mean, most of the people that are invested in this are getting dentures and they're in wheelchairs. So, I mean,
it's more easy there. Well, they've held it.
XRP, Harvey.
Yeah, you're holding it for so long. That's for sure. The good thing about XRP is I have a feeling that Brad Garlinghouse and his team have some things lined up for sequential releases in early 2025. Mm-hmm. That might be aligned up with the new Trump administration. So be on the lookout for some things happening around that. That's the only reason I'm still, really very positive of where XRP's potential is. Eleanor Terrett came in with a scoop today. Obviously, we know that there's talks right now between the SEC and issuers right now to launch a Sol Spot ETF. If this actually goes through, which there are some S1 applications according to people who are working with that, and there's a good chance they could see some 19B4 filings, which basically means they're getting an ETF ready to launch. And you look at the players right here, it's all the typicals, but you've got Van Eck, you got 21 shares in there, Canary's in there, but Bitwise, of course, Matt Hogan and his team, I think that one will be a good one. That will be a question mark, I think, that could really accelerate Solana maybe into that next level of maybe 300 bucks, maybe all the way up to 400. Do you see a top right now on Solana? What's your opinion?
I don't see any significant top at the moment. We are hitting one significant point, 266. I don't think it's going to be, that bad here. As you can see, kind of your, coming down, you may get a bear div that brings you down a little bit. We haven't exactly hit that level though, but I could see some consolidation. I mean, you're coming up a lot. There's going to be some type of pullbacks. I mean, it would be healthy to come back to 209 maybe, and then jump up to that 400 mark. This is a huge mark right here. I got it labeled out for December 11th. So over the next 2-3 weeks, if we can stay good, I think the most optimistic goal would be around 400, by that time potentially. Long term, I mean, I don't think you're going to go. I don't think you're going to go up to 1,000 for this. I mean, I think that my kind of area is that you may see a sideways kind of, once that ETF and stuff comes into fruition, more of a sideways. The news is already played out and maybe coming up to that 600, 700 into the end of the year. So I mean, probably a 3x, 2 to 3x would be my goal for this in the long term. Let's be real. I mean, it's a large market cap. It's a $120 billion market cap. Do we think it's going to go up to 500 billion? Probably not. But can it go up to 300 billion or a little bit more than that? Probably. I think that's a good goal. So yeah, I mean, short term, I could see some consolidation. I think you're inevitably going to hit this 360 mark and then that 400 mark, hopefully by the end of the year here.
So you're saying good. 2 to 3x on Solana is the potential window for Sol? 2 to 3x.
I think so.
Which would put it at 500 to 750.
That's what I think. In that range is what I think. So I could be wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I mean, $1,000 would be nice, but I think that's a little bit too optimistic.
Too optimistic. Well, we'll see. I mean, there could be some very interesting things that happen around the ETF that didn't happen with the the ETH ETF, which I think is still something. We are going to break down ETH and Bitcoin for you guys, so stick around on that. By the way, if you guys haven't subscribed, right now is a good time. Just jump in right now. We hit the 800K mark, so we want you to subscribe. Be part of it because we're getting a lot of new viewers. In fact, almost pacing our existing viewers, which is great. So welcome to the channel. Appreciate you guys coming in. Another thing I want to hit on right here is what's happening with MicroStrategy. And let me kind of zoom up on this so you can read it a little bit better. Retail investors now bought 42 million worth of MicroStrategy, MSTR, on Wednesday, marking the largest daily retail buy, 8 times higher than the daily average that was seen in October. That's basically 87 million worth of company shares. Now, what's happening is then Master is coming in, and they're going in and possibly selling some stock and also going in and leveraging against that for acquiring a new Bitcoin. My question to you is, which is the better play, Master or Bitcoin? I want to play a clip for you before you answer that. And we'll go to Kramer because he's going to give us his opinion. Take a look.
All right, so here's the deal. I've owned this stock for a long time, since 2023. I'm up over 1,000% right now. I don't plan on selling it. In fact, after today's correction, I plan on buying more. But I love what the CEO does. He's the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Saylor. The stock is MicroStrategy. What do you?
We call MSTR. We used to call that Mr. MSTR. I've got to tell you, it's a Bitcoin play. I prefer to actually own Bitcoin. I know that Citron put some sort of short on it. All I can tell you is own Bitcoin. That's a winner. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the lightning round.
The lightning round, back from Kramer. I don't know if I would go inverse of Kramer on this right now or not. But do you like Bitcoin better than Master right now? I mean, because many people may look at, if you bought Bitcoin today, there's only so much upside. What's your opinion?
I don't agree with Kramer. I don't agree. I think, it depends. There's a time and a place for everything, but I think as we get into 2025, where alts tend to do better, where things that are a little bit more volatile tend to do better, I would probably guess that MicroStrategy would do a little bit better. Now let me just look at that chart. Now let's look at MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin right now, and it's outperformed it since June of 22, since that bottom there. Now it's generally bled a lot against Bitcoin throughout those areas, but I mean, you got to realize he wasn't buying Bitcoin until I forget exactly when they got in, but since they bought Bitcoin, it has gone up. So it looks good here. I think you might be able to outperform Bitcoin by At least from where we are right now, let's see, probably at least another 50% over the next year looks likely.
Interesting.
I would have to keep an eye on these charts, but I would view it as an altcoin. Most likely a lot of them are going to outperform Bitcoin over the next 11, 12 months. And, usually if you bet against whatever Kramer says, usually you're right. Not always, though. But
yeah. So, Evan, I got a question for you. This is something that is a thesis that I've been looking at for some time, and that is, do we get a little bit of a sell the news event on Bitcoin as it reaches 100K, goes into, say, January? We could be at somewhere between 110, 115, into the Trump inauguration. At that point, do you think that we would see a retracement on Bitcoin? Because I believe we might see it come back under 100K again, maybe all the way down to maybe 80 or 90 after Trump is inaugurated, and at that time it's going to be money flowing into altcoins. What's your thought on that theory?
If history repeats, we will see exactly that, Paul. Yeah, that's what we saw kind of last time, the January kind of thaw down, where Bitcoin crashed, and surprisingly, the majority of alts didn't crash as badly. And let me show you on the chart. I'll kind of map that out a little bit for you here, which is what I'll show you kind of what I think is going to happen on our daily time frame. So we're approaching a huge area. I marked out 100K, but really 100K isn't the biggest area on my chart. I have 106K, and then all the way up to what you mentioned. Yeah, maybe 130K, high 120s at the absolute. This is kind of the max I could potentially see us at the end of the year, 130K. But say we get up to, let's just be compromise, meet in the middle. Say we're at end of year 120 or something, end of December. Then you come back down. 30% correction would be 86. I would assume your correction would probably be at least 20% down to like 95, playing around at that 100 mark. And then potentially, I just can't believe I'm saying numbers these big looking at the TI. It's just insane. Down to 100, crash down to 100K, man. Just insane. But yeah, 28% down. So I would guess, if you were to come down to, I mean, this is my kind of guess here, some consolidation, boringness with the holiday, and then maybe that January thaw that we've seen, in the 4-year cycle each time, I believe, and then a big kind of buy opportunity. In all likelihood, I would be buying alts heavily right here if I have any cash left. If I don't, and it's already in alts, that's good too. Just hold on to it. But not financial advice, but I think this is going to be the big kind of place in January. If we come down below 100K in January, that's where alts likely will crash less than Bitcoin, and they will continue to outperform Bitcoin for the next 11 12 months.
So that is something that I'm watching, is that if you do see Bitcoin, let's say it blasts through 100K, because that'll be a resistance area, but we could see some additional, because timing-wise, it's set up right in the sense of, if you could have mapped this out, it's perfect to go into the inauguration January 20th and potentially see a retracement off that. Here's my real question, is when you look of, because right now I look at I still put a lot of cash on the sideline, always for dips and potential entries. Most of the alts have been moving somewhat slow, and we'll take a look at Avalanche as a good example. Only here recently, Cardano, which we'll also look at, XRP, which we've looked at, and SWI also starting to stall. All of these could be facing maybe a retracement down if Bitcoin does fall. And my point is, if Bitcoin comes down 20%, could alts be affected even more than 20% before we see that altcoin run?
If history repeats itself, no. The majority of them will outperform Bitcoin on the way down. And let me actually show you a chart real quick that explains that.
Let's take a look.
If we go to, where is it right now? I'll get it up. Others versus Bitcoin right here. I believe I circled out the area here. Okay, that chart's gone. But anyway, I'll just show you exactly where it was. Others right here, exactly 4 years ago, bottomed out in December 2020. Look at what happened through that pullback. We had a pullback in January around here. Altcoins as a whole, everything outside of the top 10 in market cap, outperformed Bitcoin by a lot, by 137% throughout that pullback, and continued to do so all the way until January, essentially beginning of January of 2022. Big peak for it was May of 21, as we know. Same exact thing happened if we go to, I circled it right here. December of 2016. And I believe, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was a pullback in January or some point in the beginning of 2017. I think it was in January or February. Throughout all that, altcoins still outperformed Bitcoin by hundreds of percentages.
Yeah.
So a lot there. So if history repeats itself, now there's meme coins and other nonsense out there that obviously could crash and go to zero. I'm sorry if your Peanut the squirrel goes to zero, but I mean, the majority of altcoins should. Yeah.
Sell Peanut. You've made enough nuts out there. It's time to sell the Peanut. There's a handful, though. I think there's a lot of memes yet to be defined that are going to most likely be winners on this, and most likely we'll see maybe another meme that could dethrone Doge, and we'll talk about Doge. But I want to jump to SWE for a second. SWE Foundation enters into a strategic partnership now with Franklin Templeton. This is a pretty big deal for SWE, and you know, when you look at SWE originally, many people were looking at this token and were still kind of looking at it as an alternative. But if you look at what's happening now, is we're seeing this almost become an alternative to Solana. Many people look at SWE and Solana as being maybe a leverage play. When you look at SWE right now, do you like this as an entry as it sets today? If you were investing in this versus, say, the other high margin tokens like Solana, which has also moved up significantly, which one would you pick? And what does the chart show?
Well, I think the number one thing we got to realize that people lose a lot of money with is picking just one coin. It's all about diversification. So if I were to pick SUI versus Solana, it would be tough. I mean, it depends how much risk I want to take. Do I want to get a 10x? I would pick SUI. If I want to just get a safer 2 or 3x, I would obviously pick Solana. It depends on my risk tolerance. You definitely have, better odds with getting more with SUI, but there's going to be a little bit more risk there. Given that we're in, that rare time, that rare year, 2025 post-halving year, most likely if you pick SWE, it will do better than Solana over the course of the next 11 months. Is that guaranteed? Of course not. But I think you got a good shot at it. I think it's pretty inevitable to at least double from here, get up to $7. After that, we could draw, we can mess with other fib levels and stuff. I mean, it's in price discovery mode. Let's see what else we could do. We could try to do a fib from there to there. That kind of gives us that same area. You got to kind of mess around with this a little bit. We could, let's see. We could do from the inception of it all the way down here and get some high numbers. $14, that would be pretty crazy. $10, that's an obvious point. Let's see what those are. I mean, 300% would be average. Okay, so 300%, I think the average altcoin can do something around there. I would have to relook at this at $15. I mean, a lot has already happened with this, so it's up 600%. My goal on this would be around $15. That's what I'd be kind of looking at. Can Solana do that? Probably not. So to answer your question, I think SWE is probably, nothing promised, but probably the better bet there.
Ethereum is on the move again. Futures and open interest hits a new all-time high, over 20 bill. Possibly a bullish moment for ETH. Do you think that this is the bullish moment? Because we've been faked out here before at 3,500. Is this another fake out on Ethereum?
I don't think it's a fake out. Well, I think we're kind of, as long as we can hold this area, I don't think it's a fake out. Right around 3,300. I mean, if we were going to lose this, badly, then you could kind of get your fake out. But I think that you're going to be inevitably, probably by the end of the year, shot up to 3,800. That's my kind of goal, 38, 3,900. This line right here, end of year is, my goal for it. I mean, it looks good in your higher time frames. It's looked good for a while now, and it's finally starting to see the light of day a little bit. Trigger wave on your 2 week, that looks great. I mean, macro looks really good. Green dot on your 3 week right there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's generally going to be really good. I mean, if you do fall down and reject from this level, I mean, I guess you could retest 2,800. It's absolutely possible. If everything does come down, I kind of don't think you will, but you could do something like that. That's obviously, I mean, the volatility of it, but I think inevitably end of year would be kind of my goal for, that 36 to, 4,000 right there on that point. So you could hit that area. I mean, it's hard to map it out in terms of time. This could take up to maybe February to hit that 4,000, but you're going to go up in all likelihood. It would be highly unlikely that you.
What's your prediction for ETH on this bull run? End
I'll
of
show
bull
you
run.
exactly where it is. Yeah. Let me map it. I got a good way to show you that. It's around 8,000, but I think it's going to follow. I believe it's this general. So the absolute low end around the old all-time high. That would be worst case
40,
scenario
yeah,
where ETH just
46.
doesn't give
Yeah.
us what we need. The high, the absolute high end would be around 8,000 right here. I think.
Mm.
I mean, I guess it's possible to go up to 9,000. I think that's kind of unlikely though. 8,000 would be the high end. Middle range, 6,000, those kind of areas right there. But if I had to guess, I'm kind of optimistic on ETH. Maybe 8,000 from where we are
Evan,
right now.
you're holding.
Up to 8,000.
We get this question a
8,000,
lot.
go ahead.
You're holding ETH right now. You're an investor. Maybe it's a sizable position of your portfolio. Would you detach from ETH as it is right now at 3,400 around and play it into another big mover for better gains? Would you run that risk?
I would not put it into just one big mover for better
Okay,
gains.
so
I would
let's
put it
split
into
it in
4 or
half.
5 big movers.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
But I would put it into diverse, but yeah. I would put it into a lot of different things because we know from experience that things change with coins. So I think in all likelihood, something like Cardano will probably outperform ETH. I know that AVAX will probably outperform ETH. Solana will probably outperform ETH by at least a little bit over the next 11 months. I could go on Matic, yes. And so in all likelihood, yes, all coins will probably
Interesting. All right, so there you go. So ETH as an alternative play. That's why I'm concerned about ETH running in this bull run because it has been such a laggard. I think people now see where the players are. And prior, we only had a handful of winners in the last cycle where ETH was running and it became kind of the star. And only did Solana kind of snuck in under the gun. Cardano hit $3. Okay. That one was an expected run. But I think a lot of people were banking on ETH and it did its job. It did do a great job coming from 1,000 to almost 4,500. So that's the question mark now. It's the timing for ETH in this cycle as opposed to some of these other tokens. Speaking of the other tokens, I want to jump over to Avalanche. Avalanche is now over $40 again. We're hovering at that as time of recording. Some of the things that, of course, happened, they got the off-the-grid thing going, which has been absolutely historic. And they're going to have these huge game ecosystems, I think, starting to surround what's happening within off-the-grid. And I don't think this one's completely done. I think off-the-grids has still got a lot more runtime in terms of exposure. And the likelihood of it being, a top game, being a Web3 game is just amazing. So with AVAX, and you look at the chart, and where it's holding right now around $40, which is a great gain. I think it was almost 18% on mine. I had the chart up here just a second ago. On the close to where we are right now, almost 18% on growth in the last 2 days. So what's your position right now on Avalanche long term?
It's really bullish. I mean, we're not even, just look at our yearly high, $60. So there's more room. There's absolutely room. And that would be a good goal by the end of the year, getting up to that $60 mark. I mean, if you look at high time frames, like a lot of other things right now, you got your trigger wave on the 3-week. I believe, it looks like the first time ever. So very rare bullish sign that could easily bring us up to the $60 mark. Now, if you can get up there and hold that, then you're looking at potentially new all-time highs around that 120 or more. If you can make new all-time highs, the big area I'm looking at is 230 all the way up to 368. And if we look at where that is from right now, 500% all the way up to maybe if the stars align in the right way, 9 to 10x from where we are.
So you're
right
still
now.
saying that AVAX is a 10x token from where it is today?
If the stars align. If everything goes in the best possible way, yes.
All right. So you've been bragging about Cardano. We got to take a look at the chart. Cardano open interest soars almost 15%. This hits a new high. This is a cool thing because Cardano, I think, has been one of those. What was that? Almost 900 million, 850 million worth of ADA right now. Over 761 million actually in value. So when you look at Cardano and where it is, I'm going to zoom up on that so you guys get those data points. You look at Cardano and what it did in the last run. Remember that its rally in the last run took it up
Mhm.
considerably into that $3 token. It was one of my biggest winners. Your point right now, do you think it overtakes its $3 high from 2021?
Probably, you got a good chance. I mean, I don't know. That's $1 million question, Paul. But I mean, you got a good chance at it. Yeah. I mean, when we look at the chart, you broke up off of this area, this big range that we've been in for years. You have one target right around here, mid twos. If you can break above that, then theoretically your next big place is going to be around $5, high
Oh my
fours.
goodness.
You got a giant trend line all the way up at $8. I mean, that was some prediction people had last cycle, $8.
Yeah.
That's 700% from where we are right now. So to answer your question, it's possible. I would think the worst case scenario is probably $2.20 for this. So yeah.
I know there's a lot of argument out there from crypto OGs that would say, why go Cardano when there's so many other, fast moving tokens, a lot more partnerships, all these other things. And I think when you look at the community, because this is something that we talk about here on our channel quite a bit, is community and culture within crypto is a big part of why a lot of these tokens run at specific times. Just take a look at XRP and where it's going. This is pent up demand for a very rabid community. So it definitely has an opportunity. Another rabid community out there, speaking of dogs, is Dogecoin. And this, of course, is eyeing a new high. Some people are saying $2.40. I mean, come on. $2.40 for Dogecoin? Come on, give me a break. Is there any possibility we could see that kind of high?
So typically when I see outrageous numbers, I divide them by 2 or 3, and my charts will reflect that. When we look at Dogecoin, the two big areas I have right now are 117 and then 191. If this is assuming we do make a new all-time high. That's not, I mean, we probably will at this point, but anything could happen with this. 200% from where we are is $1.19. I think the average altcoin can do 200 to 300%. Could this get 360% up to $1.90? I mean, maybe. I mean, it's going to take time. It's definitely going to take time. But I can see it happen. I mean, whether you like Dogecoin or not, or just think it's kind of a, it makes crypto look bad, whatever that may be. But yeah, it generally looks bullish. I mean, you're hitting kind of a big area right here, that 40 cent mark. I mean, it bounced around those general areas before for a while. So it's going to take time. I mean, it could look something more of, we had that big jump up and then a more diminished, or, the much diminished version of that up to $1 or more into the end of the year, when everybody gives up, when we're just hovering around old all-time highs for a while. Or, it's not going to be, it's going to be a bumpy road. It could be, it could be an absolute bumpy road. So, yeah. But I think it could easily break above $1. So, yeah.
Are you following anything right now on the meme markets? Anything new, or any one particular chain that you're taking a look at, whether it's Solana or even XRP's meme tokens?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many out there. Mu Dang, I was in Thailand before. You got to side with Mu Dang. Maybe that'll come back. The hippo is getting bigger and fatter though, so maybe it'll lose relevance a little bit. But maybe there's more Mu Dang. Everybody's
down in the last week. Down in the last week, down 10% on the day. There's quite a few, I think, that are kind of interesting. Brett is the one that I'm still watching. I think this one has a potential to still do some pretty good damage.
That one does look pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, this one is one that it's still one of my positions that I like. Be safe out there on the road. When are you going to be back in the U.S.?
2 days. 2 days from now.
So. Oh, man, you'll be back in. Well, good. Well, it'll be good to see you. Thanks again for stopping in. We appreciate it. Get some rest.
I'll see you. Thanks, Paul. Have a good one.
Take care. All right, you guys, make sure and jump in on the Diamond Circle. And it's a great place to get additional content, and you can join our own private group. It's very easy. We always leave a link down below that you can get to. And follow me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.